Some people think that a denial of service is the last resort for an attacker. To be honest, this is not always true. If you read the news, there are plenty of examples where a denial of service is the main point. Sometimes attackers just want to embarrass the target and prevent them from being operational. As a penetration tester, you want to make sure that if an attacker tried to perform a denial of service, the impact would be then minimal on the target system. An important note before you start the denial of service attack: you need to explain to your client the impact of doing this operation before doing it, because this kind of attack could bring the whole network down. A distributed denial of service attack comes from many systems, and they are usually part of a botnet. The botnet is a network of zombie computers where the hacker can use to start a distributed attack from. These systems can sit in idle mode for a while before being called for an action. Demo time. More than a few tools are dedicated to performing a denial of service on systems. Low orbit ion cannon is a simple denial of service tool that floods a target with TCP, UDP, or HTTP requests. Warning: this tool is very dangerous and you should carefully use it. It's your responsibility to use it for testing purposes only. We need to install some packages and their dependencies before using low orbit ion cannon. The first one in the list is mono-gmcs. The second package that we need to install is mono-mcs. The third package to install is mono-develop. And finally, we need to install the package for log4net. Now open your browser and download the low orbit ion cannon from the GitHub repository. Now let's switch back to the console and try to unzip the downloaded file. Navigate to the source folder and compile the application using the following command. Now let's launch the application. Oops. Well, in fact, I wanted to show you this error on purpose, because if you want to run the low orbit ion cannon, you need to go to the debug folder instead, and not to use the exe file on the root directory. Before running the executable file, don't forget to give yourself the permission to execute the low orbit ion cannon. To start a quick denial of service attack against a website, you need to follow these steps. Start by entering the URL of the website in the URL field, and then click on the log on button. But I'm not going to do it. Instead, I'm going to attack the metasploitable machine using the IP address. Then select an attack method: TCP, UDP, or HTTP. I recommend using the TCP method to start. These two options are necessary to start a quick attack. Change other parameters per your choice or leave it to the default. Now Click on the big button labeled as Image Charging Malaser. After starting the attack, you will see some numbers in the attack status field. The idle label shows the number of threads idle. It should be 0 for higher efficiency of the attack. The connecting label shows the number of threads that are trying to connect to the victim server. The requesting column shows the number of threads that are requesting some information from the victim server. The downloading column shows the number of threads that are initiating some download for some information from the server. The downloaded column is a number that shows how many times data downloading has been initiated from victim server on which you are attacking. The requested column is a number that shows how many times a data download has been requested from victim server. And finally, the failed column is a number that shows how many times the server did not respond to the request. You can also give the UDP attack a try. Users can also set the speed of the attack by using the slider. By default, it is set to faster, but you can slow it down if you want to. Now let's stop the flood. Low orbit ion cannon has a feature called hive mind for conducting a distributed denial of service. With this option, users can connect their client to an IRC server. In this way, it can be controlled remotely, thus facilitating some risky attacks. In fact, this method was used to collect more people in the denial of service attack against big companies and other financial organizations. In this mode, thousands of systems attack a single website to make a real impact. The more people that join the attack via IRC, the more powerful the attack will be.